Hello and welcome to what is the third instalment of this chronological rewatch, and finally we're going to see Tony Stark and Iron Man. The first one that was actually made, the third one in our rewatch. What a film. Again, recorded in 2019, but still fresh in the memory, as it is a rewatch after all. So enjoy this show. Who's going to be MVP? How many popcorns? All that jazz, all the good stuff. Check us out, like, subscribe. iTunes, podcasts, everywhere, whatever, man. Tony Stark makes you feel happy. Roll credit. Joining me is Tiffany. How are you, Tiff?
I'm good, surviving.
And Captain Marvel's #1 fan, James. How you going, my friend?
Better than last week.
Right, let's start. So, in the convoy, Tony Stark is ambushed and critically wounded by a missile used by the attackers, one of his company's own. So it's a little rewind. So the first thing I noticed was that the mountains in the background looked really fake. Did you guys notice that? Or was that just me?
I wasn't looking in the background at that. No, RDJ's on screen, sorry.
I didn't really notice, no. But I did notice other things that I'll talk about later that looked a bit napped. But yeah, no, I didn't notice.
It's the first one, you got to give it a little
Yeah,
bit.
no, yeah, it's fine. It's 2008. But I was like, those mountains look really fake. But then I completely forgot about that because immediately I fell in love with Tony Stark as he's sitting chatting with the soldiers.
Good little introduction to be fair. You immediately get his charm, you get everything, you get the lovable kind of bad guy thing from him straight away, which is always good.
Yeah, because he sort of breaks down their very serious demeanours, doesn't he, and starts chatting up the female soldier.
Yeah, that's so good. Like you wish you had that kind of talent to be able to just
immediately
throw that out there.
Like put people at ease, like so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And immediately, he's like I was like, he's a prick, but I love him.
He is a lovable arsehole.
Yeah.
And that's the main reason why Favreau put him in the film, really, was so that he could get that side of Tony across.
And then the first time I proper laughed is when he wants a picture and says, "Don't put it on your MySpace page." So,
Yeah,
that made me laugh. Yeah.
that is a date.
MySpace? Oh my god.
How many friends Tom has now?
Oh, MySpace is Tom. Didn't he retire?
Yeah, I wonder how many friends he has.
Oh god, he must have. He sold it, didn't he, to Justin Timberlake or something?
Yeah, not to Timberlake, I don't think.
Well, Timberlake tried to bring it back. He was a sponsor of it a few years ago.
Something like that, yeah.
Lily Allen got famous. Anyway.
Sorry.
36 hours earlier, Tony Stark, who has inherited the defence contractor Stark Industries from his father, is in war-torn Afghanistan with his friend and military liaison Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes to demonstrate the new Jericho missile. So what I gathered from this little bit, we can sort of track back a bit, is Tony is immediately protecting America, but in a completely different way to Steve Rogers.
Yeah, there's a big contrast there.
As a big arms dealer, but he thinks he's just in what he's doing. And then Rhodey, I completely forgot he was a different actor.
Oh yeah, good old Terrence Howard.
That's it. I was so glad you know that. Is he?
And I prefer him as well.
Yeah,
He's very good. Like, especially because it's the first one. As you say, you kind of fall in love with everybody in that film in their own little way. Maybe not so much Gwyneth Paltrow, but everybody else.
You started already, mate.
No, I looked at the cast and I just saw her face and it just naturally came out of me. I can't help that.
Yeah, but I forgot. It's going back this far on this film and watching it in this order is really cool. But Rhodey's key, like from the off. And is that the guy from Empire?
Yes.
So it's the only other really big thing he's done since, really.
Tony's mansion is my dream house, and oh mate, it's so cool. I love that house. And
it's very well done as well. I don't think it's a real house.
Where is it?
I'm not sure.
It's not. Is it in New York? Is it near Stark Industries, or does he move?
No, it's in Malibu. It was a college and they wanted to. They didn't want
California,
to
isn't it?
Because of previous other films that done New York, and he was like, "No, let's take it away from there."
Yeah, And we get Jarvis's voice, who obviously becomes somebody else, maybe, or does he? Who knows? But yeah, it was mad going back and hearing Jarvis's voice. Obviously, he was Jarvis longer than he is Vision. But it just gave Jarvis so much more context, I guess. So I've seen it before.
But that's weird that you like. I mean, I liked him anyway because you could recognise his voice automatically, and he's a good actor. Like I've seen it before, so I like it.
Yeah, no, it's just I think obviously watching it back then, and it's been a while. I just thought Jarvis is just some British dude, and then obviously is significant. And then Pepper Potts comes and takes out the trash, has a little dig at the blonde girl. And
that was a good.
Yeah, I like
moment. Funny.
That. It's very subtle. Pepper from The Office, taking out the trash, but still being nice. And she's all over it here is she's wiping Tony's ass. Like literally, this guy has got everything in the world, but he can't do nothing for himself. He's like a pampered Premier League footballer. And Tony always gets his way, even when he's being a dick, basically. So then we go back to the future with Marty and Doc, and he's captured and imprisoned in a cave by a terrorist group called the Ten Rings. Yinsen, a fellow captive doctor, implants an electromagnet into Stark's chest to keep the shrapnel shards that wounded him from reaching his heart and killing him. Ten Rings leader Raza offers Stark freedom in exchange for building a Jericho missile for the group, but Tony and Yinsen know that Raza will not keep his word. Right, so that was quite a big chunk of scene. So now Tony's completely out of his comfort zone, which I liked. So how did you guys feel about when he's first captured and he's fucked?
Yeah, I like that you see the vulnerable side of him, because obviously up till that point, the confidence, he's gets everything he wants, like you say, but he knows, he's fucked and he's terrified. But at the same time, he's smart and you know that he's gonna, or you hope that he's gonna make a plan.
Yeah. So you get to see his evil genius at work, where he instantly kind of recognises what he can do and how he can play the situation very well. You always see that he's one step ahead. You get to see that a lot.
Yeah, and like we say, he's completely out of his comfort zone, and they call him a mass murderer. He refuses to get tortured, but in a weird way, the bad guys sort of have a point, and you see this is where it starts to change in him. Even though he needs to get out, he needs to escape, he's smart. This is when you immediately notice he's starting to realise he's going to change. The change we see later on in the film. Stark and Yinsen secretly build a small, powerful electric generator called an arc reactor to power Stark's electromagnetic prototype suit of powered armour to aid in their escape. Right. So we see Tony get to work, big, smart, doing what he does. So you sort of see Tony Stark stripped back, but in his element, like you just said.
Yeah, MIT trained engineer, you get to see all of his talents there, which is cool. I like that probably more than the other stuff. Just the fact that you see him working on it and making sure that it's done the way that it needs to be done for it to be perfect, kind of thing.
Actually, physically building it, and
Yeah. And that he's had to go through, obviously, all of this shrapnel in him, almost dying. And you see the relationship building with him and Jensen. That at the beginning of this film, it grounds it a lot. It brings a relationship between the two of them to the front as well. The jokey way that they are together, even though they're captured, is very good.
Yeah.
You get to see Tony at work, but also while this is going on, you sort of start to see more of Tony realising his own shortcomings when Jensen's talking to him and he says, you're the man who has everything but has nothing, everything and nothing, and it sort of hits home with Tony. And then we literally see Tony clanging and banging on iron, and the creation and birth of Iron Man, basically, which I thought it was so simple but so effective.
Yeah, that's because he kind of thought of a lot of things with it, and obviously you see where his intelligence comes in behind that, the way he is constructed the suit to do what he needs. Obviously, the flying with the flamethrowers, the sort of crowd control and stuff like that. It's very intelligent. Straight away, you see that.
And let's not forget that that's technically the first Iron Man suit, or prototype of the Iron Man suit, and it was built in a cave. I mean, it's
just showing off, really, isn't he? He's just anywhere.
And he's memorising the way out by counting a number of steps. So again, showing that he's a smart man. Life is like a box of chocolates. And then the bomb goes off that he made on the door, and that alerts the Durkas.
God, I love
Joker's dead.
South Park, back like Deck Street.
There will be some Captain America, Team America chat soon, so just stick a pin in that. Anyway, although they keep the suit hidden almost to completion, the Ten Rings discover their hostages' intentions and attack the workshop. Yinsen sacrifices himself to divert them while the suit is completed. Right. This is one of very few nitpicks that I had. He runs off, right, and he's shooting a gun, but he's just shooting it in the air. Like,
Yeah.
Shoot the dudes. What's he doing? Tell me about it.
Yeah, I know.
It's not even that. It's just the sheer. He just carries on running. The smart bet there is to get a bit of distance, get him gone, and then all right, cool. We'll just hide out here and we'll just wait for him to come back.
Yeah, but you're just wasting bullets.
Yeah.
And you'll run straight into them. It's like literally straight into them.
Yeah, and he's firing at the ceiling. Just fire at them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here he is, Iron Man. It felt a bit Batman-y because it was sort of, it got a bit scary. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it was meant to show the fear on the villains, but I quite liked it. It was good.
Yeah, I definitely felt the tension. Like my stomach was going. Like at that moment when he runs off and shoots nothing, but you just think like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Like, yeah, definitely builds the tension.
Yeah, it was good.
And it's very well shot as well. Like the scenes and the way they shoot it while it's moving, and obviously they make sure that they show how mechanical his suit is and stuff like that, especially when his arm gets stuck and stuff like that, and he has to work against it. That's cool.
But the armoured Stark battles his way out of the cave, and I know they were also sort of scared of him. It was almost not like I felt sorry for him, but you felt like, Iron Man's all straight out the bad BMF.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Bit unfair.
Yeah, and then the guy shoots him, the bullet bounces off and hits him.
Yeah, that's funny.
That was funny.
They're very good at the odd little bit of humour that just kind of just takes all the stress away.
Like when he gets his arm stuck as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a good little way to pace it out, make it last a bit longer.
Yeah.
I think that probably John Favreau more than anything else.
And you need that because it's so, like I said, it's so tense, that scene, that you need that little humour.
Yeah, they definitely get the humour spot on in this with Tony.
Yeah.
And then he finds dying Yinsen, then burns the Ten Rings weapons in anger, flies away, crashing in the desert and destroying the suit. Tony, when Yinsen's dying, he's first time you actually see him be humble, maybe the only time, but we'll figure that out as we go on. Thanks for saving me. And then he says, don't waste it. So then that's when obviously the light bulb goes off with Tony. He's built that connection with him and he's going to be a hero.
Mm. That's the moment in it where, like you say, it switches and that's him changing and for the good, basically, for the good and for the better.
So then he flamethrowers some mother flirkins, and then that fall, how does that not kill him?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Because he
never actually took the time to look into it.
Yeah, because he hits that sand or whatever.
Well, yeah, that's got to be pretty hard. And then, as much as the suit can only protect you, there's no padding built into that.
Yeah,
and
it's just pure metal.
You're not slowing down, and your face is going to hit the metal in front of you. Like scientifically, I don't even want to go near that.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
But then he sort of, when you see him when it like closes on him, and you see him in the sand, he's like his top half sticking out. So I suppose if he did hit it like with his feet, maybe it's more like a dive.
He just breaks his legs.
I don't know. But yeah.
You can't kill Tony Stark 40 minutes into the movie, I guess.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Right, so 41 minutes in, and a lot has happened already. Like I thought longer had passed. I paused it at this point to make some notes. But so much, like, we've established a massive change in Tony's character. He's in the best way, and it still feels like the start of the movie, but so much has happened.
I think that's probably from the way that they put the much the same with Captain Marvel, where they made the initial turn a flashback. It makes you think that you were at one point and you've got all this background information, and then you're coming back to that point, and it starts again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it was a very deliberate way that it goes, and it works brilliantly. It's just kind of
it's really good.
Roll smoothly.
The only thing I thought is he mentions that he's been away for 3 months. I didn't think it was 3 months.
Yeah, that was.
No,
It was like his
completely
hair
forgot
hadn't
that.
grown. It looked like he'd had a shave. Maybe they let him shave. I don't know.
Yeah. They're letting you groom in caves now?
He hadn't sort of lost any weight, and like I can't imagine they're giving him a 5-course meal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
You know.
So he just.
But yeah.
Yeah, who knows? But here, we'll let him off. He wants a cheeseburger at his press conference, and he gets a Burger King cheeseburger instead of a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's because they actually had a deal with Burger King, if I remember rightly.
Course,
That's the reason why it was a Burger King, because they were in marketing something, or they were going to do an ad. John Favreau, that was it. He was going to direct an ad for Burger King.
Really?
And make it Iron Man kind of thing. So it was a deal that they made.
Oh yeah, if you break the fourth wall, then obviously there's money involved. But I just, what do you prefer, Burger King or McDonald's cheeseburgers?
I do like a McDonald's cheeseburger, but you know what?
I prefer McDonald's.
But I think Burger King's burgers top out. You know.
I do like a bacon double
No,
cheeseburger.
they always taste too burnt. To
They
me.
taste like they're actually
like
grilled. That's the main difference. Is it actually tastes like that meat's been cooked for a little bit, whereas it hasn't just been microwaved or anything.
I suppose in 2019,
microwaved.
in 2019, I'd have a Five Guys anyway. Anyway, let's move away from the burgers.
Oh yeah.
And there's Coulson. Hi, Coulson. This is what I like about watching it in this order. We know who Coulson is because we're watching it chronologically. Right.
Yeah.
After being rescued by the Good Roads, Stark returns home and announces that his company will cease manufacturing weapons. Obadiah Stane, his father's old partner and the company's manager, advises Stark that they may ruin Stark Industries and his father's legacy. Right. Obadiah.
How good is that scene? Like when he takes them down as like, you know what, I want to sit down and do this. How good is that little moment?
That is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. He's completely humble.
They made that up on set as well. Like they actually had freedom to make up a lot. They didn't have a script when they started filming it and stuff. So a lot of the stuff was actually
It's like improv.
It's improv. So either from Favreau or from Robert Downey Jr. directly, and it was Robert Downey Jr.'s because it was meant to be like 200 people or something in that press conference, and then they had to get it down so that he could do that like he wanted to.
Oh,
that's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Obadiah isn't happy about that decision and he's trying to keep control, but Tony's not having it. In his home workshop, Stark builds a sleeker, more powerful version of his improvised armor suit, as well as a more powerful arc reactor for his chest. How is that in his chest? Like, is it in the muscle? Is his sternum broke? Like,
I thought that.
No, I think they just essentially just cut a hole in his chest. Or there was a hole in his chest that had been created from the shrapnel, and they kind of just sandwiched this thing in there, just to see if it would fit.
when
and it did.
It's funny when Pepper's pulling out the cables, but it's pretty deep in there, and I was kind of like...
Yeah, she gets her whole hand in, and you think, well, hold on a minute, how...
Then you think, like your chest has... I don't know what's in the middle of your chest behind your rib cage and stuff, but obviously your heart's over to your left, so your main organ is over to the left and is protected, so...
Well, yeah.
I don't know if it's physically possible, but, you know, I'll give it a bit of leeway.
Okay, yeah. I don't know, it was a bit like, I don't know, do you know when you have to change a light switch and you have to connect the earth and the live and all... Anyway, big hole in
that across the wires, yeah.
That's fine.
And I've had the little reference to Operation as well.
Because how did she know what she was doing? Because she's like, oh, why am I putting this... She pulls out the wire thing,
It's all good.
and then he's like, oh, okay...
She doesn't listen to him. She stops. Starts getting overzealous.
Yeah, but then he says, oh, okay, just get that main wire and plug it into the main whatever. But how does she... What?
I doubt there's going to be very many...
How does she know what she's doing and where she's pushing it in and where she's plugging it into? But, yeah, anyway, maybe a bit nitpicky, but I just thought...
Yeah,
you wouldn't know what you were doing.
It was another comic relief scene, and it did work. It was quite funny when she pulled it out.
Yeah. And a nice little moment between them, because obviously he trusts her, and you get to see that.
He tells Pepper she is all he has. Mm-hmm. And then he goes to see Rhodey, and I don't know what, I've completely forgot about Rhodey's through watching all these movies. And quite early on, Tony's trying to recruit him. So we get a little War Machine foreshadowing, like, pretty much straight away.
There's quite a few in there. Like, well, obviously there's that. There's obviously the 10 Rings is a reference to Mandarin as well. And it was John Favreau put that in there because he wanted to make him in the background and stuff. Like there's other stuff going on. He wanted it to seem deeper in some way.
Okay, right. So the 10 rings find the iron suit, and that was it. I put LOL when he does the first test. Doesn't he like go through the ceiling and land on his car or something?
Yeah, he like flips backwards and hits the wall.
And then the little moment with the robotic arms as well, when he's just like, go to MIT.
Is that when he tries to put a fire out, or is that later on?
Yeah, they keep spraying him, but he's not on fire, and he gets annoyed.
Tony is already more likeable. Though Stain requests more details, a suspicious Stark decides to keep his work to himself. And that was it, his relationship with his robots is fun. It's just quite cool. It felt like a bit like Flight of the Navigator for some reason. Have you two ever seen that?
I haven't, no.
I really should have, but I've never got round to it.
I should have.
It's Leo, isn't it, as well?
What, Flight of the Navigator?
Is he in that?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I feel like he is, maybe.
I don't know.
I won't check.
Not worth it. My brother used to watch it all the time. It's a Robert 80s thing, I think, anyway.
Oh, okay. Figured a different thing. They made a remake. I think they made a film of it, didn't they?
Yeah, Flight of the Navigator was a film, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a movie podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Jarvis is uploaded into the suit. It's all coming together, and he takes his first flight against Jarvis's wishes. Tony pushes the limits and will go where no one else will. Yeah, that's another thing about Tony. He's got a strong will. He does what he wants when he wants, and always seems to get away with it.
Yeah, well, he does now, and it's like do now, think later, you know. But yeah, he's a lucky guy because he always
run before you can walk. Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say this later on, but it's only subtle, and this only happens one more time. But it's the Iron Man flying towards space. Is that a foreshadowing? Is that done on purpose? Was what happens later on? Spoiler warning. Or
I don't know. I mean,
they wanted him to fly high.
Yeah. I didn't really think of it, but I suppose it could be.
Well, I think it was just toward, it was integral to that storyline. Obviously, you'll see later on in the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was just set up for that more than anything else.
Yeah.
Showing his smarts again.
Yeah, I suppose even if it's not doing a rewatch and watching it in this order, it's quite a nice foreshadow, even if it's not meant to be there.
Yeah, you can take it that way because we all know what's coming.
He's always going to charge in.
Then he crashes through the floor, gets extinguished again.
How painful is it to see that Cobra go? Like that's a really nice car. He's just flattened it and ruined it.
I was going to ask, I was like, what, Cobra?
Yeah, it's a Shelby Cobra.
Oh, okay.
I just pretend. I just assumed it was the car.
Yeah, I know. I totally know what that is.
No, it's a pristine, beautiful piece of machinery there, and it's just obviously a fake car. Couldn't be real.
Yeah, I used to breed them. Anyway, Pepper Potts places the original reactor inside a small glass showcase, proof that Tony Stark has a heart. We love Pepper. Anyway,
it feels there.
Yeah, 10 rings piece together the original suit, and then we get more of Tony fine-tuning the suit and the Hot Rod Red, like his favourite car, the Cobra, as we know now.
Yeah.
But again...
Oh, no, that's a different car.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the Hot
What's
Rod
this one?
is the one...
The Viper?
What is it on?
That's the Hot Rod, like Transformers.
Yeah.
And again, they did this in Captain America and Captain Marvel. Just little details to explain the suit. It's all in the details.
Yeah.
Right. At a charity event held by Stark Industries, reporter Christine Everhart informs... that's the girl he slept with at the beginning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Informs Stark that his company's weapons were recently delivered to the Ten Rings and are being used to attack Yinsen's home village, Gulmira. Oh, I didn't know it was his home village, so it's even more personal.
Yeah, that's why he has to rush off, and that's why, because obviously you see him and Pepper's relationship probably more than anything evolves from that scene.
Yeah, we get Stanley.
Because I'll buy the dress and that.
They think Stanley's Hugh Hefner, which really made me laugh.
Oh yeah, I love that. That was so funny.
And then another girl's like, "Hey Tanya, remember me?" He's like, "Sure don't." And then
he's such a man slut.
Yeah, and then we get which Pepper says is okay. I don't know, would that fly in 2019? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not.
Well.
Anyway, let's not go there.
She loves him.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm giving this quote of the movie because I still use it to this day, and I didn't forget, but I do use it quite a lot. Give me a scotch, I'm starving.
Use that? Where would you use that?
Well,
starving for hungry.
Any time, like you're in a pub, innit?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Or if someone asks me what I want to drink at a party, give me a scotch.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go. Coulson makes a date. Yep, Coulson keeps popping up. And Tony and Pepper dance. So, yeah, James, talk to me about their relationship so far.
Well, as you say, you see them, like, she's very much his picker-upper, just picks up after him. And just makes the mess go away kind of thing. And she's kind of, like, puppeteering him at certain points through this. And that's where he kind of realises what she is, and to take her a bit more seriously and stuff like that, because obviously he's a completely different person now through what he's been through, and it just cements the change more than anything, that he's looking at things differently. Even though she's been there forever, this could be something else kind of thing.
Yeah, she's still very weary, isn't she? Still, obviously, he's a man horse. She likes him, but she brushes him off, even though she's. Yeah. This is you first see. Maybe she does like him, but she's very good at hiding it.
She's good at keeping her pride, basically.
Yeah, she's a very proud woman now, Pepper.
Yeah.
Peppa Pig. Tony gets the news his company is selling weapons behind his back, takes it up with Oba. I'm going to call him so many different names. Oba still being shady. Tony doesn't trust him. Right, goes home, practices arc reactor palm blast. Is that what it's called? That's when he realises it can be more of a weapon.
I think it's a photon blast as well, you know.
What, same as your mate Captain Marvel?
Yeah, I think so.
So does that mean you hate Iron Man's photon blast?
No, not anyway, no. It's not soured that much for me.
So it's not an arc reactor palm blast then, okay. He suits up and it takes ages. But what I love about this suit, you can hear the clanging and banging of the iron, and it's all heavy, and it's proper Iron Man, like the cartoon I used to watch as a kid. Tony Stark makes you feel... Oh man, that one. Yeah, it's just awesome. I loved it. Anyway.
And all the screws and stuff. I love that little detail. Like it's
then,
cool.
Spoiler alert, it turns all into rubbish nanobots, and it's, you know what I mean? He's not Nano Man. Right.
No.
Stark dons his new armour and flies to Afghanistan, where he saves the villagers. Looks so awesome flying in the sky. Looks so cool.
Yeah.
I remember,
and they've got perfect music to him landing as well.
I know maybe it's a sign of the times. It's 5 years after the. Well, no, that's the Iraq War, isn't it?
Well, yeah, no, because essentially Iron Man, the character, he was born from war. I can't remember which war it was, whether it was not the World War, or the Vietnam War, or something like that, and then the Civil War, or the other way around. He was from Civil War, but he came through warfare, and like they had to try and they wanted to tie that in as a conscious decision to try and stay close to the source material on that.
Yeah, because that's what I wrote here. It's a bit on the nose with the Afghani stuff. Maybe it's because it's 11 years ago, and it's obviously I've written Sign of the Times. But this is where, as good as it was, and for me it beats the action scene from Captain Marvel as much as I loved that. This is just awesome. It just made me think of Team America.
Yeah, and it looks. Oh yeah, it's just the little.
Take
bomb.
that,
it's just
terrorist!
So over the top, just a little rocket.
America, fuck yeah!
Like that's why I said Durka earlier. So sorry to anyone who got offended. I wasn't being racist. I was just building up to my Team America references. I half expected him to say, "I promise I will never die."
Then, yeah, that's all that was missing. You just had to say that to Pepper.
Yeah, Matt Damon.
No, I would have loved to have seen his legs moving around like those puppies did.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Get out of my body, you drunk. Anyway, away from Tony Stark, Captain Team America. But yeah, it's an American-made film. It was 2008. It's about war. Fair enough. I'll let it go. Missiles, the individuals, when he locks on. I remember watching that the first time, and it brought me back to when I first watched it, when the kind Asian man gave me the DVD. Just thinking that scene was awesome. He just locks onto them and does them over.
And again,
Think of it, wasn't it?
yeah. but it's very good. Like this, there's a few scenes in this film that just again build the tension. Like you're just watching it. Like I was watching it on the edge of my seat, even though I've seen it before, but it still holds up.
It's just
it's an exciting scene.
But I felt it was pretty brutal for a Marvel film, for a hero, and for Iron Man. And maybe it's been a while I've seen it because, well, no, I didn't do the death count, but he just pops him in the head with his missiles. But it's fine. And then
I think that was just because you can't do it the same way that the comic books did and stuff. You've got to try and make it realistic on the big screen, otherwise just nobody's going to believe you.
But I also think that was more Team American. It was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody know of any
motherfucker.
terrorist attacks? He's mocking us. Durka. And the tiny missile to the tank, another awesome moment. Like, Stark just gets everything. It was awesome.
Yeah, he just completely fucking eliminates it all.
He blows up all his weapon and he flies off. So yeah, that was my favourite scene from the 3 films we watched so far. So, while flying home, Stark is attacked by 2 fighter jets. This was pretty cool actually as well. He reveals his secret identity to Rhodes over the phone in an attempt to end the attack. Just the phone call is so funny.
Plus, the ringtone was the Iron Man theme tune.
Oh, was it?
As well, from the TV show.
I didn't notice that.
It was, yeah. And then another thing I noticed as well, the 2 planes that were called Whiplash 1 and Whiplash 2, kind of in reference to once again, just do another Iron Man villain of Whiplash.
Mickey Rourke.
Oh, wow. Nice little Easter egg type things then.
Can't wait for that. Anyway, and also I thought it was a cool scene for a fighter jets. Maybe it's just me, but it was a good way to compare what the suit does. So Iron Man is almost like a fighter jet suit, basically.
Well, yeah, he went supersonic, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like that's an achievement within itself in flight.
Yeah, but even though technically the guy hit him, he fucks up a little bit by crashing into the wing, but he saves the guy anyway with his shoot. So there's a little heroic moment. And
there's a nice little joke with Rhodey there where he's just like, technically he hit me.
Yeah. And then Rhodey's trying to say, how do I explain it? He says it's a training exercise, and he says that won't fly. And then he's in the press conference and he calls it a training exercise. And Pepper catches him struggling to take the suit off, which again is funny. So maybe Nano Man is needed to take it off. But he says, not the worst thing you've caught me doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what that could be. Maybe it was a pokey bum way.
Well, exactly, because it just instantly makes you think, oh, well, what else has she got you doing?
I don't know.
Come on, she's like in his house cleaning up after him. Like she's probably some horrible things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe he was watching Captain Marvel. Anyway.
Yeah, that would be terrible to witness.
Meanwhile, the 10 rings gather the pieces of Stark's prototype suit and meet with Stain, who has been trafficking arms to criminals worldwide and has staged a coup to replace Stark as Stark Industries CEO by hiring the 10 rings to kill him. He subdues Raza and has the rest of the group killed. Right, we reverb and go back through that. All the only notes I've got from that is obviously Stain goes over there, and it was brutal on the Afghanis. Like, they all get murdered and shot. It's like Negan shit.
Yeah, it is. It's like,
well, you've
whoa,
got to make
is
him
that
a force,
necessary?
because you haven't seen that side of him up until then. You've got to try and make him a worthy villain as such.
Yeah.
He's got to show some power.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the moment you find out he was in on it, right? Like
he
was
tells him at the party before he goes.
Yeah.
Because he does he pulls him in front of the photographers, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he doesn't tell him that he was the one who...
No, this is...
Oh, does he?
No, he finds out later on.
This is the reveal for the audience, but it's a massive new suit, reverse-engineered from the wreckage, seeking to track his company's illegal shipment. Stark sends Potts to hack into his database. Pepper threatens to leave. Tony talks around and gets his own way again, but he's actually being nice to her. And Tony gets what he wants always, is what I've written. She discussed... And that's when, she has a nice little moment. She says, "You're all I've got as well." So they build that relationship really well, I think.
They
she starts
do.
the soul as well.
And he's like opening up to her,
Yeah.
And he's just being completely honest, which I think, that's why she stays. And I think she starts to realise, actually, I think that this could become something.
Yeah, it's a slow burn and it's nice. Pepper and Stain have a tense meeting. I thought I'd forgot. I thought, oh, he knows. He's clocked her, but he didn't. Even though how blatantly suspicious she was being, I was like, oh, he knows. He blatantly knows.
Wait, he didn't. I thought he did as well.
No, he knows.
I thought he did.
No, he sits down, clicks on the computer, sees it down there, and he's like, oh.
But then, especially because she's watching the video.
No.
And
he realises as she
wow.
left. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's done, maybe obviously because we know, because we've seen it, but maybe it's done so well that she knows what he's up to and he's just being his normal suspicious self, takes the newspaper, I know it. But then I was like...
Yeah, but who's that suspicious naturally? Like...
Yeah, but...
Well, he's
in a
lot of...
I was like, clearly he didn't notice how blatantly suspicious she was. But anyway.
Yeah.
Potts meets with Agent Phil Coulson of S.H.I.E.L.D., an intelligence agency, but we know that because we're doing it chronologically. We've met Coulson already to inform him of Stane's activities. Stane's scientists cannot duplicate Stark's miniaturized arc reactor, and then he says Tony Stark built this in a cave.
Yeah, that was good. I love Jeff Daniels. Sorry, Jeff Bridges, not Jeff Daniels. I always do that. Can you cut that?
Yeah. I will definitely cut that. America.
Sweet.
Have you ever seen a man eat his own head? No? Then you haven't seen everything.
Suck my cock, Jerry.
So Stane ambushes Stark at his home, uses his short-term paralysis Men in Black type gadget, and takes the reactor from his chest. I thought this was very dark and sinister. Now, discuss Obadiah as a villain.
He's great, I think, because I hated him. So to me, that's a sign of a good villain. I hate you.
True.
I want you defeated. But yeah, I like him as a character. I think Jeff Bridges pulled it off very well, and I liked him.
Isn't Jeff Daniels the one who does Ahmed the puppet?
No, that's Jeff Dunham.
Oh, sorry. Okay, no more Jeff.
Jeff Daniels, just for reference. Oh, he is Dumb and Dumber. He is the other one in Dumb and Dumber.
Anyways, James, how did you? Tiff, sorry, were you finished on Obadiah?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Yeah, Tiff. James, what do you make of Obadiah Springfield?
Obadiah Springfield.
That's good. That was funny. He was good. I mean, like as you say, you kind of forget that he's there at some certain points as well, which is good. You kind of need a villain to flit in and out, and you need the lead actor or the lead character anyway to gain that attention off of you. And they kind of had him in the background all the way through the beginning, which is good. And then obviously you get the big twist at the end, the big heel turn. Got to get that wrestling reference in there, one per podcast. And he's good.
But yeah, this was a heel turn that you kind of didn't not see coming, but you weren't thinking about it, and it wasn't as confusing as the one in Captain Marvel. But yeah, I thought he was subtle and sinister. I like that.
Yeah.
Perfect, because it's Tony's film. He doesn't take it away from Tony, but he's a perfect foil, I think.
Yeah, it does work, because as you say, there's a lot of, all the way through the film, they are kind of referencing other villains of his and stuff, and he actually says Ironmonger, who's the character's based on, he says that while we're Ironmongers, very early on in the film, while they're looking at the arc reactor the first time.
I didn't know.
And it's just another little moment that I really liked anyway.
See, you're springing the knowledge. I love it. Right, Stark manages to get his original reactor to replace it. Yeah, when he's taking it out, this is another one where Tony's probably more vulnerable than he was in the cave.
Yeah.
He is, well, for lack of a better term, fucked.
Yeah. There's like very low lows, but then as you say, there's very high highs, like the moment in Afghanistan earlier on and stuff like that. I liked that contrast.
Yeah, and I've written Tony is in deep doo-doo because I wasn't going to swear, but that's too late. He's in a bad way, and his little robot helps him, Johnny Five.
Yeah. Got to keep him now, though.
He's dying, isn't he? I mean, basically he's dying.
Well, yeah, he's the shrapnel was moving towards his heart.
Yeah.
But you guys get the Johnny Five reference, yeah?
Johnny.
Not really, I'm going to be honest.
No.
Short Circuit. Oh, man.
I've never seen that film.
But not the remake, the old one. Your mother was a snowblower.
I've never seen it.
We'll watch it next
Yeah.
After this whole series, we'll watch it. There you go.
Bonus episode, Short Circuit 1 and 2. Yeah, so Stain puts a new reactor in the old suit, Otto, and then Rhodey finds Tony.
Yeah.
Potts and several S.H.I.E.L.D. agents attempt to arrest Stain, but he dons his suit and attacks them. Tony suits up and flies off. Big clunky Iron Man, love it. I just love the big clunky suit. I've said that already. And then we get some more War Machine foreshadowing, and that's when he's like, next time, baby.
Yeah.
And then ironically, there never is a next time for this guy. It's quite funny on the second time. Well, it's quite funny seeing it now anyway, is that knowing that he doesn't come back anyway.
I still prefer him. He was in one film and I still think that
I don't know, I'm a Cheadle fan. I like Don Cheadle. He's good.
Well, we'll talk about Don when we get to him. Stain in the suit. I thought it was quite scary. It reminded me of the original Terminator. I quite liked it. It was quite menacing.
Yeah, it was very menacing, wasn't it? Yeah. And as you say, you don't really get to see his. Well, obviously, he reveals himself later on, but it's just this big lump.
Yeah.
And especially when you first see it, like when he first actually, like the eyes pop, and like when Pepper's looking in the darkness, and you just see him like come up, and you're like,
why was he hiding there? That was my question. Why behind the chains?
Well, because it's
dramatic
dark.
effect. That's what it
Dramatic effect. Yeah.
And he hears the S.H.I.E.L.D. guys blow the door off, doesn't he? So he's awaiting their arrival. So he's playing a bit of hide and seek.
He wants them to get, right where he wants them, basically.
Yeah. Stark fights Stain, but is outmatched without his new reactor to run his suit at full capacity. The fight carries Stark and Stain to the top of Stark Industries building. Right, so Tony catches a car and saves the family, like proper hero stuff. Just saves the family.
Yeah. And then she runs him over. Another little moment that just in this whole big mess of like noise and fighting and all this kind of thing, just a little moment like that just to make you laugh. It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just going to say Superhero 101, saving a family, but he got run over. And he has to lift the car to get out. So he gets his ass handed to him big time. And then, another flight towards space, and how do you deal with the freezing problem? And I was like, is that legit for Shadow? What I asked you earlier, but we don't know, but it's cool anyway. Yeah. And then Tony's out of power. So, Stark instructs Potts to overload the large arc reactor powering the building. This unleashes a massive electrical surge that causes Stain and his armour to fall into the exploding reactor, killing him. So, I just read... Stain gets proper fucked up, and a great villain death. Tony uses his brain and his best asset, Pepper, to win. Go Tony. How did you feel about the end of the villain?
Yeah, I think that was a fitting end for him.
It was pretty final, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Plus, he took the blast as well. That was my biggest question for all of this, because it's like, I'll do it, you'll die as well. And
I thought Tony got out of the way.
Well, he sort of was on the side, though, isn't he?
Well, no, he's right underneath it. Well, it's right on top of it, the other way around. He's on top.
He's a bit to the side. But again, you can't kill Tony Stark in his first movie. I was gonna nitpick something, because he starts shooting at him, and again he's like Yinsen in the cave. He's shooting all around him, but he says, "Oh, you've messed with my his aiming, whatever, his lock-on equipment." So they explained that away. I was too quick to nitpick. The next day, at the press conference, discuss.
James.
You're gonna sub me in, yeah? Okay, right. Yeah, no, it was good. You see especially because, looking back now anyway, the thing I clocked immediately was it's the scene in Spider-Man later on. They're just waiting to go into the press conference. It made me think of that now.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, which I really liked, but obviously that's why they then put it in later. You get to see him just kind of being like, "I've got to stick to the cards."
Yeah, they say that to him.
I'm told twice.
Is it the S.H.I.E.L.D.? Yeah. Is it Coulson that says stick to the cards and Rhodey?
Yeah.
I just said that I never thought that going back to the press conference scene, I didn't think that he was ever going to stick to the cards. He was always going to come out and say, "I am Iron Man," because like you said earlier, he does what he wants.
Yeah, I remember. I just distinctly remember the first time I watched this all them years ago, and sort of not being caught off guard, but I was just intrigued watching it. And then even though watching it again, it's pretty obvious that he's gonna say "I am Iron Man," but it still pops me big, and it was so good, such a good ending. I am Iron Man.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Like,
even sort of like off the cuff, the way he just says it.
like,
I am Iron Man.
obviously,
Everyone just erupts, and it just creates this massive noise. No, it's good.
obviously my mind could change because we've got 19 movies to go, but what a sweet ending. That's potential to be the best ending of a superhero movie. Because every other superhero is a secret. Yeah. And every other superhero is a secret, and he's like, "No, it's me, mate."
Yeah.
And once again, that was a conscious decision that they kind of wanted to go without.
I think
like alter
that's why
egos,
it's
they didn't want that to be in there.
Yeah, because every other superhero movie we'd seen before that, there is a secret identity in that. It's like, oh, fuck that. I am
It's the
Iron
first
Man.
one that really threw in the face of the whole secret identity and well, everyone knows who they are anyway kind of thing. Just that little thing's always been going on in the comic books, and everyone wonders how nobody realises he's him and she's her and all this kind of thing. It was very well done.
So in the post-credit scene, S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury visits Stark at home, telling him that Iron Man is not the only superhero in the world and explaining that he wants to discuss the Avengers Initiative. See, this is why the chronological way to watch it is perfect, because we know what that is.
Yeah.
Because we're not referring to comics, we're sticking to this timeline, and we've watched Captain Marvel. At the end of that movie, we saw what he's planning. Works better because we now know why the Avengers Initiative was named that, because of Carol Danvers, or Vers.
Yeah, it does, and plus because we know who he is as well, and like Coulson.
Yeah,
And I also liked going back a little bit, but just it's relevant where Coulson with the cards in the press conference, and Coulson looks at Iron Man and says, "Oh, this isn't my first rodeo," and obviously we know because of Carol Danvers. So it's like I just love those little moments because the way we were watching it, as you say, it's just it ties everything together. It's cool.
Right, so I'm going to go first this week with reviews and MVPs. I think we can officially put to rest that we're not going to do losers anymore.
Yeah, I forgot to come up with that.
Yeah, that's fine. So, R.I.P. But we all know the last episode that Captain Marvel was the loser. Anyway, we've moved on from that, I promise. Right, my MVP is Tony Stark, Iron Man. Stonewall. You know what I mean? He's just incredible. The film was action-packed, funny, everything a superhero movie should be, I think. Tony's journey is incredible, done so well. I think Pepper was awesome as sort of subtly very important, so a little special mention for her. Stain is subtle but effective and a legit threat. Really liked it. The only small negative is, I suppose, the Afghani Team America stuff, but it ages the movie a bit, but it was a sign of the times, like you say. These movies have got to stay relevant. And my popcorn rating, it's a 9 popcorns. I'm giving it a 9. It's a fantastic movie. 9 from me. And with these ratings, I don't want to be thinking further ahead too much. But 11 years later, this film holds up, and it's just a fucking awesome film. 9 popcorns from me. Tiffany, your turn. MVP.
Right. MVP. My MVP is it Jensen? What's his name?
What?
Jensen. Yes, love him. No, he's not in it for very long. But I think he is like instrumental in helping Tony turn that corner and change and become, Iron Man. He helps him build the Iron Man suit. And I just love their relationship. I love the connection they have, and I love the goodbye between them. I thought that just gave me feels. When he says to Tony, "Don't waste your life," and that moment just really sat with me, and I think that Tony carries that advice with him throughout the entire MCU. I just love him. So he's my MVP.
Review.
And review. I second everything you say. Really, it's just a brilliant movie. It holds up. I was watching it, and it made me feel. I was back in 2008. I felt exactly the same way I did when I first watched it.
Yeah.
And it just the first. Obviously, we're watching it in the order we're watching it, but it was the first movie, and I just remember how excited I was, and no one had any idea what it would become, but it definitely made me think, oh wow, like I'm excited for the future and they can do this. What else are they going to come up with? So yeah, it's a brilliant movie. Love it. Robert Downey Jr. is flawless, and yeah. And I'm going to give it, what's my rating? I'm going to give it 8.5 popcorns.
Cool. James, MVP review and popcorns, please.
Yeah, so MVP, you know, it's a struggle for me to work out who I was actually going to pick as my MVP, because the way I was coming in at it before was like, oh yeah, this is good, this is the start of the MCU, all of the stuff came from it and all this kind of thing. I can't ignore that for it, which is why my MVP is going to be, I'm going to have to call him Happy Hogan, Jon Favreau, even though he's not really in the film too much. He makes this film what it is.
What's his name? What's his character's name? I've forgotten.
Happy Hogan.
Happy.
Yeah.
That's his best mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it's chauffeur.
Chauffeur.
He's not even in the film.
Yeah, but he's not really in the film. But he made the film. He directed it. He produced it. He had a hand in writing parts of it and stuff. And I think the film comes from him very much, which is why I give him the MVP more than anything else. I think, yeah.
MVP's got to be a character.
Why has it got to be a character? Who says? We made the rules. Like,
Okay.
I'm not having it dictated to me who I pick as MVP. It's not happening. It's Happy Hogan. Live with it.
And technically, he is in the movie.
What?
Exactly. He's a character. I've got an easy.
He's at the casino.
Right.
He's in the casino.
Yeah, and he drives a car. He races him to the airstrip as well. He's in a few little scenes. It's not
Takes him to get a cheeseburger.
Exactly. Make sure he has him that cheeseburger himself, like a good chauffeur does.
I legit thought this was the Stonewall movie where we would all pick Tony Stark.
No, I love.
He's the clear. If this was a football match, Glenn Hoddle would give him man of the match.
Yeah, no, he would. But yeah, as I say, I can't forget everything else. As much
So you're
as
giving
to
it
say,
to
like,
you're giving it to the
film
director.
itself, yeah, I'm giving it to the director. Yeah.
Okay.
What's your rating? Come on.
My rating.
No, review first.
What did I give?
Review. Oh, sorry, review.
Yeah, no, very much the same as you guys. It holds up. It's still a good story. It's well shot. It looks good. The soundtrack draws you in. The guitar riff of AC/DC and Iron Man, Black Sabbath, and the way that they're involved in it and the way that they build you up, it flows really well the whole movie. And it's just a film you can get lost in. Even though you've watched it a million times, you can just get lost in the story and the way that it all plays off of each other. Like RDJ's performance is brilliant. You get to see exactly why they wanted him to be Tony Stark, because he can play the lovable arsehole. He can get everybody on side at the same time, and he puts on a great performance in this. Terrence Howard say it's a shame that he didn't come in and do more of it. Obviously, that's different reasons. But yeah, the film's very solid. It lets you know what it's about and what he's about. It sets up his character very well. So yeah, solid. I don't know what I'm going to rate it, because I rated Captain America an 8, didn't I?
I think you gave it an 8.5.
Was it? Okay, we'll say an 8.5. So,
or maybe an 8, because it came. Well, Captain America finished on a 7.5. So yeah. So I don't know, but don't think about Captain America. Think about Iron Man.
Okay, we're thinking about it. It's a very good film, and I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
It's good. It is very good at the same time, so I'd probably actually change. Yeah, I'm going to switch that to a 7.5, because it is like that bit between good and very good. It is a very well shot film, and it is a good film to watch, and you can rewatch it a multitude of times and not be let down by it. And I think that's what really helps, the fact that it stands up to the test of time, and it still does well.
Cool. So, let's get the perpendicular calculator rate. 9. What did you give it, Tiff? An 8?
8.5.
Plus 8.5 plus 7.5?
Yep.
From James. 7.5 from James equals 25 divided by 3. So it lands on an 8.3. Is that a round up?
Yeah, it's over 8.25.
So it's 8.5. Iron Man gets an 8.5 popcorns. I'm happy with that. You guys happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah.
So that's between very good and fantastic. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say so. Yeah.
Awesome. Right. So we've done Iron Man, and I'm going to give you and the listeners, if we've got any, their assignment for next week. Can I have a drum roll, please? Keep that drum roll going. Right, next on the list, Iron Man 2. We're sticking with Tony Stark.
We're skipping the Incredible Hulk. Yeah?
No, just let it happen.
Yesterday I thought of this and I was like, I have to at least acknowledge that it was a film.
Just
Really?
listen.
Yeah.
Good things come to
Right.
those who wait. This is the order.
So Iron Man 2, right? I've only seen that once, I think. Yeah.
A few times.
My
Yeah, it's good.
my
I thought
prediction.
we had something else though.
My prediction for this is probably I'm predicting my lowest ever popcorn rating for the whole 22 movies. Looking at the order in front of me now, could be wrong.
It might actually, the more I think about it, I think Thor: The Dark World's not actually going to be that low down. When I think of Iron Man 2, yeah, it's much the same.
Well, I haven't seen Iron Man 2 since it came out at the cinema, and I remember leaving the cinema thinking that was pants. So we'll see, because Iron Man 1 was awesome. It's risen to the top of the popcorn charts, top of the pop charts, or what? Top of the pops. He's moved above Captain America, but what will Iron Man do? We'll find out next week. So it's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me.
Yay, we got it right this week. Anyway, yeah, we'll see you all next week. Happy Hogan, everyone.